Jeff Bezos. Long before he was the king of global logistics, Jeff Bezos was just a guy in a garage with a bunch of cardboard boxes. In 1994, he left the high-paying job on Wall Street to start an online bookstore. The original name wasn't even Amazon, it was Cadabra. He changed it because his lawyer thought it sounded too much like cadaver. He chose Amazon because it was the biggest river in the world, and he wanted his store to be the same. In the beginning, every time someone bought a book, a bell would ring in the office and everyone would cheer. But soon, the bell was ringing so often they had to turn it off. Bezos was literally packing boxes on his hands and knees on a concrete floor. When he suggested getting packing tables to save their backs, his employees said, "That's the smartest thing I've ever heard." It shows that even the most complex business in the world started with a simple problem: how to ship a book without breaking your knees. Today, Amazon sells everything from cloud computing to groceries, but it all started because one man decided that the internet was a perfect place to sell a paperback. Bill Gates. Most people think Microsoft was Bill Gates' first big move, but his first real business was actually a total failure called Trafodata. When Gates was just 17, he and Paul Allen built a computer to read raw data from traffic tubes, those rubber hoses you see stretched across the road. They wanted to sell the data to local governments so they could optimize traffic lights. They poured their hearts into the machine, but when they finally went to demonstrate it to a county official, the machine flat out wouldn't work. It was a humiliating disaster. But here's the business lesson. Even though Trafodata failed as a company, the code they wrote and the hardware they built became the foundation for Microsoft just a few years later. Gates proved that your first business doesn't have to be a multi-billion-dollar success to be valuable. It just needs to teach you the skills you need for the one that is. Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban is famous for his sharp business mind on Shark Tank and owning the Dallas Mavericks, but his billionaire journey started at age 12 with a box of garbage bags. Cuban wanted an expensive pair of sneakers, but his dad told him, "If you want them, you have to get a job." Since he was too young for a real paycheck, he started going door to door in his neighborhood. His pitch was simple. "Hi, I'm your neighbor. Do you use garbage bags?" Everyone said yes. So he'd sell them a box of high-quality bags for a few dollars more than the store price, but with the convenience of delivery. He wasn't just selling plastic, he was learning how to handle rejection and how to close a sale. He realized early on that business isn't about the product, it's about solving a tiny problem for someone else. To this day, Cuban says that selling those trash bags taught him more about business than any MBA ever could. Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett is known as the Oracle of Omaha, but his first empire was in the back of local barbershops. When he was in high school, he and a friend bought a broken pinball machine for $25. They fixed it up and made a deal with a local barber. "We'll put this in the back of your shop for free, and we'll split the profits 50-50. The barber agreed because it gave his customers something to do while they waited. On the very first night, the machine made $4. Buffett didn't spend the money, he used it to buy another machine. Within months, he had pinball machines in every barbershop in the area. This was Buffett's first lesson in compound interest. He wasn't working for the money, he was making the money work for him. He eventually sold the entire pinball empire for a massive profit. Even at age 15, Buffett understood the golden rule of wealth. Never spend your profits, reinvest them until you own the whole room. Steve Jobs. Before Apple was the world's most valuable brand, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak were technically digital outlaws. Their first business was selling blue boxes. These were illegal electronic devices that could mimic the tones used by the telephone company to route long-distance calls. Essentially, it allowed you to make free phone calls anywhere in the world for free. Wozniak was the genius who built them, but Jobs was a natural salesman who realized they could sell them for $150 each. They went around dorm rooms at Berkeley demonstrating the tech and making a massive profit. It was dangerous and they almost got caught by the police, but Jobs later said that without the blue boxes, there would be no Apple. It gave them the confidence that two kids could build a magic device that could control a giant infrastructure. It proves that sometimes the best entrepreneurs start by seeing a system and then finding a way to hack it. Elon Musk. Elon Musk's first business wasn't about rockets or electric cars. It was about a 500-line piece of code called Blastarm. In 1984, at just 12 years old, Musk taught himself how to program on a Commodore 64. He wrote a space-themed video game where you had to destroy an alien freighter carrying deadly hydrogen bombs. Most kids would just play the game, but Musk had a different plan. He sent the code to a magazine called PC and Office Technology. They were so impressed by the 12-year-old's work that they paid him $500 for the rights to publish it. For a kid in South Africa in the 80s, $500 was a fortune. It was the first time Musk realized that his ideas had a literal market value. Whether it's a space game or a mission to Mars, Musk's business model has always remained the same. Find a complex problem, write the solution, and sell it to the world.